Hello everyone, today I'm back. Now we're going to talk about the Tennessee State Route System. Tennessee's interesting for a few reasons we're going to talk about today. So, how does Tennessee do their route systems? Well, Tennessee divides their route systems into two branches: arterial routes, primary and secondary state routes. The numbers have no correlation with this location nor cardinal directions. We'll see that as time goes on. And also, our classification system can get extremely confusing. One road can contain both designations of the primary and secondary state routes. However, never can they contain it at one point. Usually, they contain it at an intersection where 33 becomes, or any state route becomes, a secondary to primary, or vice versa, primary to secondary. And to make things just as more confusing, U.S. highways have concurrent routings with their state route system. So we're going to talk about all this today. So, in the state of Tennessee, we have two types of designated roads. State parent routes, which these roads are signed, they're designated, and all that. Like 72, 68, 61, 62, 162. Those are all, those are all primary routes, but those are also state parent routes. They're designated. Let's see. And then we have concurrent with U.S. routes. These state routes are usually hidden. A default here would be, most of the time, a state route is hidden with a U.S. route. It's primary. However, not all the time does that happen. We're about to see right here. So US 11, it's a major north-south route in this country. It goes from Louisiana, New Orleans, all the way to New York. And in that way, we have Tennessee. It goes through Chattanooga, then Cleveland, then Sweetwater, then Loudon. It even goes through Knoxville. Then it branches off and goes north after it leaves 70. So when it enters the state, it immediately is concurrent with Tennessee Secondary State Route 38. Then it becomes Tennessee State Route 2. Then it becomes Primary State Route 2. Then once it connects to 70, it becomes a Secondary State Route 1. Then as it goes into Knoxville, it becomes a Primary State Route 1. We're going to see a map here. This took forever for me to make. I went ahead and labeled all the roads, just to kind of show you all how our road system's made up. So US 11 enters right here through the Georgia line, and immediately as it enters the state, it's assigned Tennessee State Route 38. It's a secondary route, and it never becomes primary. It ends here. It ends at US 41, this intersection right here. US 11 joins, and it starts coming up here, and then it comes here, and here's Tennessee 8. Tennessee 8 ends up going down here. Well, I didn't mean to go there. And then it starts going up to 64. And once it becomes concurrent with the interstate, this is where Tennessee State Route 2 becomes primary. And it actually ends up primary almost to the end of its life. Let's see. It becomes secondary after the 321 Tennessee Primary State Route 95 and Tennessee Primary State Route 73 intersection. So it's secondary from Rutherford County all the way down here to the interstate. Then it becomes primary for the rest of the time up. Then it enters Loudoun County primary. Then once it passes US 321 Tennessee Primary State Route 95, Tennessee Primary State Route 73, it becomes secondary until its emerges with Tennessee Primary State Route 1. So, some interesting things about the Tennessee State Route system. Some routes actually change cardinal directions. I talked about Tennessee State Route 73. So 73 is concurrent with US 321 for the most part. And there's some exceptions. like, let's see, I believe a little bit after Townsend, 73 branches off. 73 is complicated because it has its own scenic route. It's signed as, I believe, a designation of 317, but don't quote me on that. Tennessee State Route 76 also changes, and Tennessee State Route 141 also changes. This one goes, this one's actually near, it's in Putnam County, right before 56 enters, DeKalb County, which is Middle Tennessee. State Route 73, that starts US 321 at I-40, and it ends at US 25. I'm not entirely too sure about 76. I feel like I should know this, but I don't. And that's it. Also, there's some things I want to show you. Okay. Here's where I base everything off of. This right here, well, this right here is our Tennessee Department of Transportation map. This is where I got the the Hamilton map. My computer's not wanting to treat me well right now. Whoops. So, when it comes to the designations of primary and secondary state routes, it can get kind of complicated. So, here's Hamilton County right here. So the rectangles like this, these are primary routes, and these triangles are secondary routes. So we can see here that Tennessee 2 is secondary until right here. So somewhere between here and here, it turns primary. Well, I have another Tennessee Department of Transportation map, and it's all on one page. So let's go to Hamilton County, and here's Tennessee's secondary state route 2. So it just shows me the same thing. So what I ended up doing was downloading, well, that's the map I made. We can zoom in. What I ended up doing was I ended up researching more, and I'll show you all how I found where it turns secondary. So here's Loudon, and here's US 321. Well, after this is a secondary, and this is actually supposed to be one secondary all the way up in Farragut. I believe one is, I can pull up on my other one here. Okay. I believe one is secondary from here all the way until 11 splits. And yes, looks like I'm right. And it ends as a primary route, it looks like, right here in Bristol. So this is where I got like my sources for labeling, and it took me a lot of work to actually find out what the heck is going on. But yes, our state is really complicated, and our numberings make no sense. Let me see here. I'll find one. So one example is Tennessee 95. You would think 95 and 96 are somewhere close together. Well, let's see here. Here's 95 in Greenback. You go, let's see, it's secondary here. Then it becomes primary. Then this is where 321 ends, and 73. 95 becomes primary here. Then 95 goes up here near Clinton. And I think 95 ends there. It does. So 95 ends at 58. Well, 58 is a long route. Here's 58. So 58 goes this way. I have to get on my other one to actually find this. So our Department of Transportation isn't all that great when it comes to like showing us where our maps are. Yes, 95 ends here on 58. Right here. Wait, no it don't. It's right there. Oh, I think 58 ends at 95. I'm gonna search that really quickly here. TNSR 58. Okay, 58 ends at 95. Well, where's 95 end? Is 95. I believe it ends at either Solway. Yeah, Solway. So, well, 61. Okay, that was my other guess. So we can trace it here. And yeah, right here. 61 looks like it goes here. And 61 continues on in Clinton. Then it intersects 75. That is one of the most confusing things. Trying to read this chart and doing everything. When it came to the Hamilton County one, I actually ended up going to Hamilton County, Tennessee Department of Transportation map. County outlines. So Hamilton County is right here, so we're going to click that and it's going to load. I'm going to just download it. It's, oh, here we go. I'm going to still download it. Okay, here we go. So here's 58, and 58 went all the way through Roane County and East Tennessee. Alright, so here's State Route 2. This is where I found out that State Route 8 went. State Route 2 is a secondary. It'll go up here. And State Route 2 is primary. So I'm assuming, I made the assumption that State Route 2 became primary when it hit the interstate. Because on the interstate, near, let's see, right south of APD 40, it was a primary designation. So it could have been primary here, or it could have turned primary here. It's kind of a little skeptical in Tennessee, but I made the safe assumption that it became primary when it connected to the interstate. Thank you all for watching, and enjoy.